Hi everybody, this is Eilis Monahan, otherwise known as Girl Archaeologist, and I am standing on the roof of the dig house of the Tel Achana Alalak excavations. The hills you can see behind me are in fact Syria, and when I turn this way, the small hill covered with trees behind the building is in fact the site of Alalak. It was a Middle Bronze Age and Late Bronze Age city, very important in international trade in the Eastern Mediterranean. Okay, it was ridiculously windy out there, so I've come into the depot. This is where, as you can see, we store all of our finds from previous years. Now, I'm a professional archaeologist. I actually worked for 2 years professionally in North America. I have a bachelor's degree at Eastern Archaeology College, and I just completed my master's degree at Cornell University, where I focused primarily on the Eastern Mediterranean during the Bronze Age and wrote my thesis on Bronze Age mortuary landscapes on Cyprus. My areas of technical expertise are primarily geographical information systems, aerial remote sensing, and geophysical remote sensing. And in fact, this year at Alalak, as well as helping with the pottery chronology, I'm also going to be helping to coordinate this year's geophysical remote sensing project. Now, as to where I currently live, that's actually a troublesome question. I just finished my master's degree at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. My permanent address is actually in Connecticut. I'm currently in Turkey, and at the moment the plan is to spend the next year in Germany because I received a fellowship to do research at the University of Heidelberg. However, I am a dual US and European citizen, a citizen of Ireland, and so I can live and work anywhere in the United States or in Europe without any special permit. So I'm recording this on my lunch break, so I'll have to make this kind of quick, but why I love what I do is that I get to travel, and every place I go, I now see layers of history. Just the other day, we were in Antioch, and they were excavating to put in a new sewer system. And there was a small crowd gathered around the hole that they had dug in the ground. And I go over there and I look in, and you could see that they had actually uncovered one of the original Roman bridges. It was incredible. But I've gotten to go all over the Mediterranean and Europe with my work. I've excavated at Petra, on Crete, Cyprus repeatedly, and now I'm here in Turkey. One of the other things I've really enjoyed about working in archaeology is that I've gotten to work a lot with the public. When I was working for one of the CRM companies in Connecticut, we were actually working for one of the Native American tribes. And so we got to interface with the tribe, with the museum, with the community. And when I was at Cornell as a graduate student, I actually worked bringing figures like Eric Klein to campus, not just to educate the students, but also to hold public talks, talking about the Lost Ark and the Holy Grail and all these subjects that are interesting to the public, but are often portrayed not as scientifically as they could be on television. And that's what I would love to bring to it, because I think that perhaps a more analytical eye could be cast to these questions and still interest the public, but perhaps inform them in a more responsible fashion. Now, speaking of Holy Grails, there's actually a connection between the Holy Grail and where I am right now, just outside of Antioquia. There's a purported grail held in the Cathedral of St. Mary of Valencia in Spain, which has been analyzed by archaeologists as actually dating to the 1st century AD, which would be the appropriate period for being the cup that caught the blood of Christ at the crucifixion. However, this particular chalice doesn't match in style with the ones that we know from the Syro-Palestinian area around Jerusalem. It actually looks more like ones that we know from here in Antioch. Now, the Grail itself doesn't even appear in literature until the 12th century AD. There's a French poet, Chrétien de Troyes, who wrote a poem called Perceval, which is an Arthurian legend. And in this story, Perceval stays in the castle of the Fisher King. And the Fisher King, who is wounded, is kept alive by eating the communion wafer from Angral. The association of Angral with the cup that captured the blood of Christ doesn't happen until maybe 100 years later, when Robert de Boron wrote another Perceval story and another Fisher King story. And in this one, he associates the Grail with the cup brought to Europe by Joseph of Arimathea. Now, a lot of the modern misconceptions about the Holy Grail actually come from a false etymology. Now, the original word angral, grail, means a bowl or a serving dish in medieval French. But when it became the Holy Grail, it became sangral, which then became sangreal, which actually means royal blood. Thus the association with King Arthur, the English nobility, and so forth.